Back at the X748. Now, probably what you're noticing is some parts have disappeared and stuff. Mostly, I worked on this, 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there throughout the week. And honestly, sometimes I just like to work in solitude. And that's what I did. So, I didn't take any video of it. Sorry if you were expecting more, but I just didn't feel like making any videos. I just wanted to kind of sit here in silence and work a little bit. So, anyway, one thing I did want to point out, and I was actually going to take this lift cylinder out, and I wanted to point out a couple things. So, on the previous, what I call the X4-5 and X5-5 tractors, so that would be like the X495, X585, X485, and so on and so forth. Originally, the rock shaft would have been on the rear part of the frame. When they went to the X7 series, they actually did away with the rear rock shaft. Even though all the hardware and all of the mounts, not all the hardware, but all the mounts are here for the 3-point and the rock shaft. They did away with the rock shaft, I'm guessing in a cost-saving measure, because not everybody gets to 3-point, and they moved the lift cylinder up into the frame, so the lift cylinder directly lifts the deck. Now, what you have to do is when you get a 3-point, so if you buy a category 0 3-point, you have to go ahead and spend another, I think, $80, $90 on an adapter kit. That adapter kit is what allows you to move the cylinder from its current location on the X7 back to the rear, like it would be for any 3-point on an when you put the 3-point on X series. All it contains is some hydraulic line extensions, some new fittings. But all you have to do is you have to remove the U-bolt, which you see right there, which I've already done. I've already got the nuts off of it. Remove the U-bolt. You've got to undo that key right there, little bendable key, whatever you want to call it. Undo that and then extend the lines back, and you can mount the cylinder in the back. So that's just one really important thing that is different on the X7s over the X4-5 and 5-5 machines. Other things that I've worked on, I've kind of worked on taking the dash apart slowly but surely. That's just kind of one of those things. I hate working on dashes, so I'm not really big on that. I'm working on removing the electrical wiring harness. That's just going to be a process in and of itself right there. And so right now, I'm just kind of moving around the machine, doing various things. I think I'm going to go ahead and take the lift cylinder off, and then if I have enough oil pans and everything, I'll go ahead and take the steering cylinder off the front if I can get in there. You notice my truck's not in here because it's actually warm outside today. So anything that I can get from standing up, I will probably go ahead and tackle, and we'll go from there. If I find anything else that I really want to talk about, I will come back and put it on this video. Alright, so I've done quite a bit of fighting with little fasteners and everything. You can see that the dash is off. Still, all the hydraulics are still together except for the hydraulic valve up there. What I'm working on right now is disconnecting the transaxle. Now, what's really interesting here is I have actually taken the bolts out of the transaxle, and to show you how bent the frame is, I actually have the nuts are off those bolts right there. The bolts are not coming out, and the wheels are actually, this wheel right here is actually off the ground. You can see under there. And that is strictly the bent frame. You can see how bad it is bent, so I'm very happy that I opted to take this one apart versus trying to fix it. I think trying to fix it would have probably led to some ill feelings if I'd have sold it or anything like that. So this was a good call. Makes me feel a whole lot better about what I'm doing. Kind of what I suspected in the end. You can even see now that the frame is starting to lose some of its structural rigidity and everything. That bar right there, the relief bar, is actually bent. Normally you don't have to take that bar off to get the transaxle out. I think there's still enough tension on those bolts right there because of how the frame is bent that I will have to take that out. When I went to go take the hitch plate off, the hitch plate, I actually ended up, normally I can take that off with just a long handled ratchet and a wrench, and I actually had to get the impact gun out, because the frame was actually a little twisted and the bolts wouldn't come out. They were, I think when I took the hitch plate off, there was probably almost a 1/4 inch of flex in that plate when it bent back out to how it was sitting in there. So certainly is a ruined frame. Makes me, like I said, makes me feel a lot better about what I was doing in terms of parting it out versus trying to get it working again. It goes to show you that any machine is not just because it's non-running or anything doesn't mean that it's salvageable. In this case, I think if I would have attempted to straighten the frame out, there could have been some long-lasting effects, particularly if I had ever put a deck under it, or if a new owner had ever put a deck under it. It certainly would have led to a lot of madness, uneven decks, and everything else, or the potential for uneven decks. So, yeah, in fact, I don't even know if I'm probably just going to scrap a lot of those in-frame bars there, unless when I get them out, there's a little bit better indication on how they look than anything. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the transaxle out. And then after I drop the transaxle out, I'll start working on the hydraulics back to the front, and then we should be done with this project. Get it out of there, get it out of the shop, make way so I can actually work on the 318. The 318 is just sitting right back there. So I can actually make progress on that 318 project and get it up and running for summer and mowing season. So anyway, that's it for this one. I'll probably go ahead and tack on the wrap-up video, and that'll be it for this series. Realistically, I thought about it. Other than my commentary, probably not all that much information that anybody would be able to use is when you take it down this far. So anyway, there we go. There it is, all done. I think I've picked pretty much everything that I'm going to pick off this thing for right now. I might come back in the spring and grab some more hardware because there's a number of metric bolts and stuff on here that I'll grab for just my own personal use. I remove the serial tag so nobody can use the frame or anything like that. Destroyed the serial tag, everything else. And there it is. Actually, you can see how bad the bend in the frame is. Looking at it from the bottom, you can see this down here straight, and you can see how bad the bend was back in the back. So, this project's done. It wasn't really a project, it was kind of just me doing what I do. So, yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. So, anyway, that's it for the X748 series. I'm actually going to try to sell a number of the parts whole. I'll keep some of the parts for some projects that I want to do, things like that. So anyway, thanks for watching.